Evening and welcome to the first episode of Ask the Gaffer series. Joined tonight by Mick Kennedy, aka the Gaffer. How's it going, Mick?
Good. Aye, all things good, mate. All good.
Good. So in the last few interviews that we've done, we recently made some recent signings and we had Darren and that on. Usually we ask everyone what they've been up to to keep busy during lockdown. But I've had to reverse it for you. So what have you been doing with yourself when you've not been on podcasts, Mick?
Well, I've got a couple of the restaurants open, so that's been taking up a wee bit of my time. And I've been doing it Darvel every other day just to try and lend a hand and helping in the improvements we're trying to do. So I've been fairly busy, to be fair.
Good stuff. The last week was Mental Health Awareness Week. We caught up with Darren and some of the other lads. They've been doing a lot of good things that have been really helping out in the local community and stuff like that. You must be quite proud of the players for doing stuff like that.
Listen, I've always said that we're very fortunate. We've got a good group of lads at the club. They're very appreciative of obviously what happens at the club. We always try and support the local community in Darvel and anything that's happening in a wider community. So we're very fortunate. A very considerate bunch. It's something we done after rain back. Everybody bought into it. I think it was Darren's idea. And the guys bought into it. So it's great that they've been so supportive of it.
Aye, there's a decent bunch of guys. It's great that they're using that kind of initiative during this tough time anyway to go and do things like that. And I think that I said to Darren when we were on the show last week, we probably didn't publicise it enough, and that just shows how the guys are, that they're not all about just showing this, that and the next thing. It was it went kind of unnoticed, I feel like, which was good. So right, sorry.
That was your fault.
That was my fault. Let me share it. You're right. I think I did put my hand up and say that we didn't publicise it enough. So how's the recruitment been going over the last few weeks since we last spoke to you? I know, has things plateaued slightly, given that it's a kind of unknown when football starts again, or is things you've still been kind of actively recruiting?
Well, obviously we're always actively working in the background. We've obviously got Gibby's come in, the goalkeeper. We've signed Brian Thompson, John Kilpatrick so far. We've signed Gavin Mitchell. And we've got probably another 3 or 4 in discussions with just now, and hopefully they'll sort of come to fruition in the next couple of weeks. It's a challenging time to speak to players. I think maybe not really affecting the West of Scotland teams, but certainly there's a lot of uncertainty in part-time teams in the country just now, and I think a lot of players at that level are quite uncertain of making decisions and unsure what the future holds. So I think that's sort of keeping its way down, and everybody's just a bit cautious at the minute, which is fair enough. Listen, I think the other thing is as well, because the season finished so early, I felt as if you feel as if you're actually in pre-season now, and you're panicking about not getting people in early enough. But the reality is, there's still the season would just really be finishing just now. We'd really be out in pre-season, so there's still plenty of time to get things done over the next couple of weeks and months. I'm sure as things come a bit clearer and a bit more certain at the low levels of senior football, then that will have
You did know, Mick, that it's this Sunday was the Scottish Junior Cup final, so it wouldn't be the pre-season yet because you promised us you would be there.
I don't quite remember that promise, John, to be fair. I said that I was speaking to Jim today, and I said it's funny how Jim makes my promises up for me. I know the promise was we would get promoted, and I've managed to do that, so that was the only promise I promised.
You're right, mate. You've filled your remit, don't worry about that. We've got your back. Right, so I'm going to fire away. We tend to do this at the beginning. We're just going to do some quick fire questions away from football, just to try and get everybody to know you. I know that everybody have probably been listening to your podcast over the last wee while anyway, but we'll try and keep it as new as we can. So whereabouts do you stay, Mick?
Dalserve.
Clyde Valley, isn't it?
Clyde Valley, mate, yeah.
Clyde Valley, aye. And kids-wise, we've got wee Vienna. Was it her birthday the other day, was it?
Yeah, my daughter's birthday on Tuesday. She was 2.
Aye. So that must keep you busy as well. We're away from football, is it not?
Aye, well, I think we're very fortunate because we own our own businesses. We've got a good balance in life, to be fair, so we do get to spend a lot of time there. But aye, it's challenging, very challenging, certainly at this age anyway. And
understanding wife then, I would imagine.
Aye, to be fair, I'm very fortunate. My wife's always been very understanding. I think I spend a lot of time at work and a lot of time at football, and she's always been very supportive of that. So, I could probably be any more grateful for the wife I've got, to be fair.
I was going to ask what your other interests are away from footballer, but I know that I don't think that's relevant, that question, is it?
No, that is the only interest.
I thought that might be the answer. I've got a question down here that the script man's wrote is, what car do you drive? Because then he's put, is it right enough that you get a deal in Mr. and Mrs. Range Rovers and Daz has got the female version? Is that right?
Aye, I drive a Range Rover Sport. He's got a Range Rover and Dan's nice other Range Rover. So aye.
What's your favourite food?
Chinese. And also, I'll tell you what I'm addicted to just now. I'm not just saying it because the Gaffer's in the background, but we're addicted to the Brownings steak pies at the minute. I swear to God. That's turned into our Sunday dinner for the last 3 weeks. So aye.
That'll be the Kilmarnock pies edition, Mick, is it?
Aye, that's him, mate. That's the ones.
Hard to beat. Do you have it at cellar with beans on the side?
Beans on the side, exceptional.
You've got to. Right, so that brings us to the next one. No pressure or anything, so you've kind of answered my next question. I was going to say Brownings or always the Bakers?
Always Brownings.
Tread carefully there.
That's another 2 players you can get now, Mick.
Who's the best player you've ever played with? I'll run through these quite quickly. Just don't labour much.
Probably, listen, it's very, played with loads of different players, played loads of different qualities, but I think I've said it numerous times, probably just in terms of being an absolute winner and overall qualities is probably big Steve McDevitt, who's currently the club captain.
Captain at Darrow, aye, big McD, good answer. Who's the best player you've seen live?
At sort of level I've played it, or we've played it.
Can be just even watching football and senior football and like, who's the best player you've seen live?
Did you see me playing, Mick?
Sorry?
Did you see me playing?
Thankfully, I didn't, Jim.
Where's that mute button? Just play.
I've heard about it a lot though.
Aye, okay, pal, right.
Probably the best player I've seen live, probably Henrik Larsson, to be fair, was exceptional. I've seen Eric Cantona play, sort of hero growing up.
You have said that.
Right. So I could live as well, which was an exceptional experience.
All right, we'll put it down as Cantona and Larsson then. What about Darvel or Koval Park?
Darvel.
Where's your favourite destination to go on holiday if you're to take a break?
To be honest with you, I don't actually like going on holiday, if I'm being brutally honest with you. I think I'm probably well renowned for that. Usually holidays coincide with the season being finished, and I'd rather be here, probably concentrating on football. But probably I went on safari to Africa once for a couple of weeks, and it was amazing. Probably.
Where was that? South Africa?
Africa, aye.
Where'd you go? Kruger Park?
Probably about 8 years ago or something. So we travelled to Africa for a week, then had a week's holiday, just settled in one place. It was unbelievable. So probably.
I've got family in South Africa, and I was threatening to go. And you see some of the pictures, it's just like one of the places. It's absolutely magical.
Aye, unbelievable.
Right. So favourite music. We get tipped up last week, me and Jim, saying that, is it true that you like to listen to X Factor editions, The Greatest Showman and Michael Bublé in the car with Darren? Sometimes there's tears, is that right?
Aye, that's probably a true reflection of the sort of music I listen to. Smooth radio is the only thing that's in my car.
Smooth?
Smooth, aye, that's all.
Smooth, aye.
But aye, I probably like Michael Bublé, that sort of
chilled music.
Chilled music, mate, aye. Chilled music. I'm sure people would call it other things, but let's just call it chilled.
I don't know. Everybody's entitled to their own. It's all about own taste, isn't it? The world would be a strange place if I like to say music. Yeah. Right, okay, so let's be fire through some of the quick fire questions. I'm going to pass you over to Jim, and he's going to tap you up with some interview questions, and then we'll take it from there. All right, over to you, Jim.
Mate, a lot of these questions we probably know the answers to, but it's just for the supporters who listen in and Facebook and that, so a lot of them we do ken. So first one is, mate, what was it like growing up in the West End of Glasgow? I ken you came from Jordan Hill, and is it true you preferred rugby as a boy?
Listen, I wish I grew up in the West End. Where I grew up was so far removed from Jordan Hall in the West End you could imagine, to be honest with you.
Tell us a wee bit about this East End you're right going on about then.
Yeah, like the Gaza Strip, to be fair. No, listen, I think I've said it many a time. People, obviously, I grew up in a place called the Carlton, which is beside the Barrows, so stayed there till I was about 16 or something like that.
Happy days, mate. Happy days growing up, was it?
It's a typical East End scheme. Hard, probably that community spirit within it, because everybody had to pull together at times. So it was different growing up, didn't have a lot. Probably had 2 loving parents and a sister, and had quite a close-knit family. But that was sort of the wider reaching community as well. So very, very close community had to be, because, as I said, very many challenging times early years living there, and people had to pull together. And probably some of that's gave me the characteristics that I have today in terms of how I live my life, and that's a lot when I talk about family and the values I try and implement. And much comfy growing up in a place like that.
Yep, good mate. Right, can you tell us a wee bit? We all know you own Black Rooster. Can you tell us a wee bit about it, how it all started and how it has grown?
Probably it's quite an unusual sort of journey for me, to be honest with you. I always worked in public sector. I'd done bits and pieces of main business like property and owned a nursery and stuff like that, but I'd never really seen myself moving into that sort of sector. Decided to take a break. Working and originally set one up in the East End of Glasgow with my mate, who's my business partner, and it wasn't really meant to be what it's turned into. It was just really meant to be a small business venture, something that gave us an interest on the side before I decided to go back to work. Yeah. And quite quickly it sort of grew arms and legs, to be fair, and it's grew into a bit of a beast. Something that's grown and developed all the time. Hopefully by probably this time next year, maybe another 18 months, we'll hopefully have about 20 odds opened up in the country. Some of them will be owned by franchisees. So it's continuing.
And even managed to keep going through COVID, mate.
Aye, well, we shut down for the first couple of weeks. Then, when other smaller businesses started to open back up, we opened 2 up and managed a takeaway and collection service, and it's been relatively successful. I think it was madness at the start because there was nothing really open, but as the bigger chains are starting to open, it's starting to settle down to a sort of manageable position. But at least we've been trading, earning some kind of money, and the business has been plodding along. Fortunate, probably there's loads of obviously business owners out there who are facing uncertain times, unfortunately, so been pretty fortunate.
Exactly. Listen, I know the answer to this because I know how many times a week that we speak together. But the Darvel fans, they only see you in match days, Paul. So how much time a week do you spend in terms of player recruitment and behind the scenes work?
Listen, after my wife should say about 90%. It probably takes up more of my week than anything else. It probably takes up more of my working week than my actual business does, to be fair. Again, I'm probably quite fortunate. My business partner's quite understanding as well. And it takes up a hell of a lot of my life. As I say, probably about 60%, 70% of my week is spent on Darvel or thinking about Darvel or trying to improve it. But listen, that's not just me. That's other people know about the club as well. Obviously, the chairman and stuff like that. Everybody's fully committed to it. It's not just me. But it takes up a lot of my time. But I love it that much, to be fair. So that's why I'm happy to commit to it. It's not a burden or anything like that. It's enjoyable. I've got a lot of freedom to be able to do that. So it's a massive part of my life.
Magic. Listen, we know where the team train, but give us a wee bit about the insight of where the team train and give us a wee bit of insight about the player data that you use at the club.
Actually, we train up at Lock-Inch, which is the police headquarters in Pollok Park. We share it ourselves, and Partick Thistle utilise it. It's very fortunate. It just went through about £1 million refurbishment last year that invested a lot of money into the infrastructure within it. You've £100,000 gym in there, meeting rooms and changing facilities and stuff like that. It's a great facility. And when you're in Pollok Park, it feels as if you're in the countryside, so it's very secluded. Great facility. Very fortunate that the club supported me and allowed me to move it there. And it's a joy to train there and work there. The players further enjoy it as well. In terms of player data, I think people always ask me why I decided to come to Darvel and leave Govo. And I remember when I came down and I met you and John, and I said that I wanted to try and build the most senior professional background we possibly could. And that was one of the reasons that I came, because when I met you and John, that commitment was given to me that you would support that, and he's agreed with that vision.
Yeah.
So that's a massive part. That's another element of what we do, and it is about building the most professional environment we can for players. Listen, it doesn't guarantee success, but I always talk about environments, and I think it's important to build the best environment you can for players, and that's just another added factor to it.
Yeah, now you're obviously going to change the squad for next season, but I want to speak to you regarding the backroom staff, because there's been a clear out there as Anders became the goalkeeping coach. Did you give him that job because he was the best customer Black Roosters got?
There's been significant changes on the coaching staff, unfortunately. And listen, that wasn't all my decision, to be fair. I think Kevin had decided that he felt that coaching just wasn't for him at this minute in time. Stuart, who's probably the opposite end, very experienced, had a lot of success and dedicated a lot of time to the game. New grandchild coming and wanted to dedicate some time to him and his wife, and Biscuits as well. It was just an opportunity to freshen the whole backroom team up. I've brought in Willie Torrance and Robert Scott. Willie I know exceptionally well, known him for a number of years. Great coach, great qualities, probably to see the game very similarly. We've probably agree in open, expansive football. Willie's got the same vision as me. Robert, who was at Kilburnley for a period of time, has also been in coaching senior clubs. So another great addition. And then we promoted Xander into the goalkeeping coach, and I think it's added a freshness to the club. We've spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks sort of discussing and planning what the club will like moving forward. So it's an exciting time. The guys are all really happy to be part of it. They see why there's such excitement about the club, and I'm sure there'll be great assets as we move forward.
Aye, bro. He's some character, Xander, isn't he?
Oh, listen, exceptional. I think it's dead easy to forget though. Xander was a top goalkeeper. I can remember him when I played football at the time. He played with Queen's Park and stuff like that, and he's been a great asset. He was a great asset at Covo Park when he done goalkeeper coaching there, and Chris really enjoys working with him. So, and I'm sure John will as well. But he's an absolute character. I don't
That guy, he really is. He really is. Put you in the spot when you go, mate.
He's also got great attributes as a goalkeeping coach and as a person as well, which is important to me. So he's somebody I wouldn't have wanted to lose anyway.
Aye, good, Bob. Move on then. You've obviously loads of right good experiences in football since you became a manager, and you've won the Scottish Cup umpteen times with Colville. But what's been your worst experience as a manager, mate? I'm
very fortunate so far that there's probably not been many. I think when my first year of managing Colville, we get beat in the West final, and I was only 6 months at the job at that point. I'd just taken it in December time, and we struggled a wee bit, and we managed to get to the West final and we get beat that night. And I think that's probably been the lowest time. I think it was good for me as well, because as a player I'd been so used to so much success. And it probably gave me the hunger to rebuild the club, because at that point I only really was agreeing to take the club until that summer. And I think that night, and I think we finished third in the league or something like that, which was probably unknown for Colville the past few years. I think it gave me the hunger to try and rebuild the club and go next year. And then obviously we're very fortunate to have a quality group of players, and we had a lot of success on the back of that, but that's probably the lowest.
Good, mate. What's your ultimate goal at Darvel, and do you see yourself here long term?
Listen, my hope is that we continue to build the club. I think we've got a great opportunity now to progress through the levels because of the pyramid system. I think it's not just my ambition, but I think it's probably everybody's ambition that we'll hopefully go as high and as far as we possibly can. I've loved my time at the club in the short space of time I've been there, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. As long as we continue to be ambitious and challenge, and then my intention is to be there to see that through. I think I've got a very close relationship with John and the rest of the committee and the community in a very, very short space of time, and I think that's really important to me. So, but I'll just continue to work away and hopefully bring as much success to the club as I can. And listen, I've done well to see it a year anyway in Charles with John.
Listen, we see a lot of messages in Pie and Bovril on all the forums about Darvel throwing money at players. Can you tell us what the real story is behind all that nonsense?
Aye, well, listen, I get criticised for going on and defending the club at times because people should say managers should stay off it. The criticism to me, and it comes quite regularly, doesn't really bother me. I've got broad shoulders and I'm probably used to it, to be fair. I think, and I've said this on numerous occasions, but I think people forget how astute a businessman John is. And I think when I'd met John as well, and that was one of my concerns, because from outside looking in, it's John just funds the club. Now, I don't think there's any doubt that they fully supports the club, and he gives the club as much support as he possibly can. But one of the things that's always been very clear is that he wanted to build a sustainable business model. Now, the infrastructure he's put in place in the short space of time he's been there has been absolutely remarkable. But fundamentally, the club's in a really good financial position itself. Everybody works hard to generate significant income. The playing budget for next year is fully funded by income for the club that it generates. So there's a proper business model in place. Listen, he'll always be in the background, and I'm sure he'll always support it financially and obviously with his experience. But fundamentally, it's certainly not what people believe from the outside looking in. It's certainly not just something that gets a blank checkbook flung at it every year. There's obviously a business plan in place. There's budgets put in place. I try and stretch the budgets as far as I can, John. But it's been done in a very sensible way. Listen, I know other clubs have been criticised for spending a lot of money, but I think what you look at is where the money's been spent largely has been on building the club off the park. And I think that's about longevity, and that gives a great platform and foundation to attract some of the quality we've attracted. But listen, there's wide criticism, but as I said, John's is trying to build a sustainable club that's got longevity. And the other thing that's criticised is because I hear this all the time, what happens when John disappears. I think people forget John's been there nearly 5 years now.
Yeah.
He's not as if he just came in last week.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been a long time there. I don't think there's any doubt about his commitment to it. He's not going to go anywhere in the future. I think he's fully committed to the club. And I think with John and the committee there, then I think the club's got a really successful future in front of it. And that's without me being there or not, to be honest with you. I've only come in at the tail end here and started to try and rebuild the football side of it, but ultimately the club had great foundation before I came.
Good, mate. Can you tell us a wee bit more about the link with Galston Youths, pal, and obviously the under-20 development squad we brought in Glenvale, so can you tell us a wee bit more about that, pal?
Right, listen, I think we always agreed that for part of the vision of the committee and John was to have a sustainable project. We had to get the community to be a massive part of that. I don't think there's any better way of delivering that is through the partnership with Galston. I think it creates opportunities for those young people to transfer through into which was an opportunity to go to the senior club in the pyramid system. I think it enhances that sort of community development as well, where we can create other opportunities just away from football. I think there's wider aspirations for Recreation Park to become a community hub. And I think this is a great platform to do that. I think it's also a great opportunity to get families involved as well. And I think it's wider reaching than football.
No, I think so as well.
I think everybody supports that. So I think it's a fantastic thing. Under 20s as well is that last probably link in the current structure to allow us to create opportunities for those kids coming through the Galston to move right to that development squad and hopefully transition out of the senior squad at some point. So, but listen, that'll take a lot of work. Galston have already got a fantastic academy there run by fantastic people, and I think the partnership with that committee, working with your committee, then I think the future looks bright for everybody.
Magic, mate. I'm going to put in the spot one last question here, and I know you're one about talking about team and team effort and team character. If I was to ask you who was your player of the year last year?
I think probably, I don't again they could probably deny it would be Darryl Meggitt for me. I think he was exceptional for us all year. He's such a talented player. So I don't think it's undeniable, Darryl. But listen, we had loads of great individual performance across the season. But I think you know me, Jim, about well enough by now. I'm always very much about the team and the group and everybody united. So it's hard to single one person out, but I think anybody who watched his week in, week out would struggle to know.
Hard to argue with, mate.
It is hard to. But listen, other people, Darren had a fantastic season, obviously cut that out when you're putting this out. Goals for right wing back. So there's been other great performances throughout the season, but I think think Darryl has been exceptional week in, week out. His level of consistency has been unbelievable.
Aye. Thanks for that, mate. Listen, that's us finished that section. We're going to go into fans' questions just in a couple of minutes, but we're running out of time and we'll need to come back to the fans' questions, mate. So we'll do that.
Cool, mate.
Thanks for your time, now, Paul. Mate, we've got 10 questions for the fans who follow us week in, week out. I'll do the first 5 and Marco will do the second 5, pal. So the first one's for Josh Hollywood. Is it true you've asked John to release an Empire biscuit next season with your face in the front of it, with the words King of the Podcast on the back of it, and sell them on match days?
I get called an egomaniac enough as it is, I think. No, John Seale's getting down with my face on the front of it.
So it's just a rumour, that one, is it?
That's a definite rumour.
All right, next one's for Alan Hunter. Sir Alec Ferguson famously said he wanted to knock Liverpool off their perch. Is that what you want to do, talking like?
I think rightly so that Auckland are seen as the top team in the country. I think they've achieved remarkable success over a remarkable number of years. I think the whole club deserves a lot of credit for that, from the community right through to the players, the committee, the management team. I think that's undeniable. I think it would be disrespectful for us to ignore the other quality that's in that league. Yeah. But ultimately, I think for every club, if you finish above Auckland like Talbot, then there's a chance of going to have a successful season, and that's the level we want to get and compete in week in, week out. But I think we need to be mindful this is our first year in the Premier League, so we need to be respectful to other clubs as well. And I know everybody outside the club is giving us a lot of praise and saying that we'll have a good season. There's a genuine belief within the club that we'll go in there and compete. But ultimately, my aspiration, the committee's aspiration, is to be the top team in the country. But that's not going to happen overnight. There's a lot of hard work in front of us. As I say, they're a remarkable club to try and catch, but there'll be a lot of other quality in there. Teams like Pollock and Huddleford and Cowan and stuff like that, big clubs as well. But ultimately, that's the level you want to get to.
Brilliant. This is from my pal, the Marvel. What was your toughest test last season, mate? And who was your most consistent player, which you've already answered, probably?
So obviously the most consistent player was probably Darryl. Toughest test last year? There was, to be honest, there was actually a lot of tough tests, to be fair. I think the game against Blantyre in the Scottish Cup, to be fair, I think getting out such a comfortable early lead, 3-0 looked like very, very comfortable, and all of a sudden Alan gets sent half in the game, gets turned on its head. Then I think after that it was back to the wall stuff, and I thought the players showed great focus and determination and hunger to see it at the line. So that was probably the toughest test, but I just think that's because Alan gets sent half and we faced a significant challenge in the second half. But that would probably be the toughest test. But listen, there was loads of challenges throughout the season.
Aye, and that's one thing. The Championship, every game away from home, you know it's going to be a battle. They're all tough games. They really are.
Physical, demanding, different challenges every other week. Surface is different every other week. Some real quality in there. A lot of talented managers, and listen, every week was a different challenge. But I'd probably say that game against Blantyre was really demanding for everybody. I think emotionally as well, because it was like a roller coaster. First 15 minutes, you're high as a kite. Yeah. The last 15 minutes, you've probably seen at the end, Jim, and you leap to Barry like a 13-year-old. And then it's a significant release. Listen, if we'd have beat that day, I probably wouldn't be talking to you. It would be some other manager.
Hardly, mate, hardly. Listen, a couple of questions for Ian Robertson. Now we're moving to a higher class of football. Can we match the top teams with the players we've signed?
Well, I think that's undeniable. Listen, I think we had to improve. I don't think there was any doubt about that. I always said at the start this was probably going to be a 3-year journey in terms of building the playing squad to the level we had to get it to. I genuinely believe with a couple of guys we'll get in, and obviously John and Kirky and Ryan are exceptionally gifted football players. I mean real top players. So I think we've probably been able to bring that recruitment a year forward. So I've no doubt with the squad we've got. We've kept a good core squad for last year. We've got another 3 or 4 to add, and I think once everything settles down, then I don't think there's any doubt we've enough quality within the squad to go and compete week in, week out. I'm not concerned about that.
Good stuff. And his second question is, what's your thoughts on the youth policy producing future players?
It'll be a challenge, but listen, I'm sure Galston are already producing players just now, top players. Unfortunately, there's a bit of limitation within their current structure that the boys maybe don't get the opportunity to progress and really get seen at a significant level. So hopefully the partnership can help fill that gap, and ultimately for things to be fruitful and beneficial for the young ones, that there's opportunities for them to progress through, and ultimately that's what everybody's aim and aspiration to be. Listen, I would love, I'll be honest with you, probably a better representation in the squad for local people. That's my honest opinion, and hopefully we can get to that at some point. We've had to recruit far and wide and bring boys in for other parts of the country, because that's not ultimately where my contacts have been, and that's where relationships are established. But long term, I think the plan for the club would be that we could have more a local identity.
Good stuff. This last one's for your captain, mate. Is it true that you and your mate Beansy used to get called Colin and Justin? And if so, is that why the changing rooms are so spotlessly clean?
My big mate never fails you. Aye. We used to get called Colin and Justin back in the day, aye.
Is that hence the reason you've got the pink t-shirt on tonight? Aye.
I think I was probably a bit more conscious of my appearance back then. As I've got older, I became a bit less vain, to be fair. So but back in the day,
listen, you can thank the skip for that. That's my 5 questions for the fans, mate. I'm going to pass you over to Franco and he'll do the last 5, pal.
Right, hopefully they weren't as bad on you as these ones, but anyway, here we go. So the next question's for your other mate, Bob Malcolm. And he says, the first part of this question is, why do you never smile in pictures? And the second part is, did you used to use hair straighteners?
Big Bob Shelly doesn't use hair straighteners anyway.
That myself.
I've always been known not to smile in photos. I prefer not being in them, to be fair. I think that's what the problem is. So very rarely we find one and we're smiling in. And as I said, I was probably a bit more vainer when I was younger, so I've used a hair straightener or two back in the day,
Next one's for Thomas Cathcart, aka Young Tam. And his first question is Darren Miller the brains behind the whole operation and you're just the front man?
Have you believed that, unfortunately?
Darren believes it anyway.
Listen, I think Darren and the word brain maybe don't go too well together, so I think that's certainly not true. I say this all the time about player recruitment. Players sometimes are the best recruiters you can have, and that's how it's important when we bring boys in and we create the right environment for them, that it helps attract and retain other players, and that helps with Darren as well. It helps with Darrow and other players like that who are well known. And so I'm sure he's got quite a small part to play, but probably not a bigger role as Darren. But there's a shocker.
And the second part of the question was, what was your favourite part of your first season as a Darvel manager?
I think the biggest success has been when I look back here at the season, and you know something, when if things ever come to an end in Darvel, whatever that may be, I think the biggest success I'll always have is how much the community's bought in and what we've done. And that's my genuine, no matter what we win going forward, and listen, everybody's aim is to try and win the leagues and cups and stuff like that, because ultimately that's what I'm there today and that's what the players are there today. But I think my biggest success will be how quickly the community's bought into the club and how quickly we've built that connection up. It's been remarkable. And I say this all the time I speak, it's been remarkable to see them come out in their numbers and support us every week. There's a real sense of community within the club in such a short space of time. Yep. And listen, that's when I say success, that's not my success. That's the club and the committee's success. But when I look back on it, I think that would be the biggest thing that we've achieved in my time here, which hopefully has got a long time in front of it.
Yeah, good. I think it's certainly the most recognisable output, I think, for last season anyway. I don't know whether or not people would think that obviously getting to like west of Scotland would be one part of it, but obviously you and the players and probably us would have far rather seen the season out and do it the right way. But I think for the community, I don't think we can hide behind how successful that's probably been this season, and it's great to see, and hopefully that will continue to rise moving forward into the west of Scotland. So that was for Thomas. So next couple of questions I've got for Dean Barry, long-standing fan. The first one was there an existing connection with Glenvale AFC, and why did you choose them?
No, particularly, no. I think Martin and John and the management team there have got a close connection with Wally Torrance, who's my assistant. It's probably not that it was really on the radar any time we'd spoke, me and John, about moving to the west of Scotland and what that looks like in terms of the club. Our under-20s or development squad was never really part of the conversation. I think it's something we maybe look towards establishing next season at some point, but it wasn't really high up a list of priorities. It was just an opportunity that came. Very experienced and successful management team at that level, and it was probably an opportunity we felt we didn't want to turn down, but it was never something that was probably high up a list of priorities, to be honest with you. And I think that's how it sort of came out a wee bit left field. It was all a bit last minute. It was never really something that we'd really spent a lot of time discussing.
Very good. This other part of the question was, where do you see Darvel in 3 years' time?
Years time, I think at the very minimum, I think we need to win the whole league. Would be the absolute minimum. I think that I think if we weren't in that structure within the next 3 years with the support within the club, then I think I wouldn't say I would necessarily see it as a failure, because there's a lot of quality within the league above. But I think that needs to be the club's aim, is to get into the whole league within the next 3 years. I think that should be an achievable target.
Good. Okay, so moving on to Ian Robertson. One of the older fans that we've got, smashing guy, and he's got a couple of questions. First one being, now we're moving to a higher class of football. Sorry, I've went the other way.
You're doing it Darren Miller. You're doing it Darren Miller.
That's what confused me. It was Darren's name that came up, and I thought we can't be asking questions for him again. So his first one is, for Darren, when you were doing your stunt double for Pat Nevin, did it pay well?
This came from McDee's, well. I don't know how I get compared to Pat Nevin, but it's certainly stuck. I actually seen somebody put it on Twitter. I think it was Darren put a story about McDee's best man speech.
He did.
I was busy that day, so I couldn't go onto Twitter. And for a number of hours when I get on it, it was just continuous notification after notification. So Pat Nevin, I don't know, my wife was too happy about that.
And the second one was, what about the time in the takeaway shop after training? You get scanted and everything was in show. What was the story behind that?
We at Colby Park, we used to, you drove up for Dale, we used to train. There was a wee Chinese and Indian, and a few of the boys used to go and get something to eat after training. About 6 or 7 of them. So we used to, after training, we'd travel up there and meet, and they scanted me in the shop. And videoed it, by the way. Which is
nightmare.
Lovely. So that was a fun night.
So that's for all the fans. The last question was just for myself. I just put one in at the end, which I thought we hadn't put earlier on in an interview, and I thought, what would you say your greatest strengths are as a manager, Nick?
I think, listen, I always say this, I'm a great believer in the most important people at any club, but with the sort of community and the fans as players. And I generally do mean that. I know I come across as being fairly confident, and I think people will take that as me being arrogant. But the reality is that I generally do believe that the players are the most important part of the club. And I think probably my strengths is building environments that they enjoy being part of, that challenges them, that inspires them, and it's something that I set a vision and a journey that they feel they're part of and they're valued within that. And I think probably if you ask any sort of player, then I spend a lot of time in terms of making sure I've got close relationships. I spend a lot of time in belief in man managing players. I think that's probably what I see as my biggest strength. So that's important to me, to have really good relationships with players. And so I would probably say that's it.
Right, just kind of concurs and really reiterates the thoughts about Darren kind of had said last week. He's obviously had could have had a relatively successful career in senior football, but it failed probably along the journey because he wasn't his man management and stuff like that. And we spoke to him about his hot-headedness and stuff like that. They feel that kind of held him back a bit in football, and he actively did say, like, you tend to get the best out of him. So obviously you mimicking that with obviously other players is as good as you can see. We've attracted a greater senior level of player to the club this year, last year, of course.
I think when I look at football players, first I look at them as people. I think then it's dead easy to forget ultimately they're just individuals who have got normal lives, normal family life, work life, stresses, challenges like everybody else. And I think sometimes football is a release for them, and sometimes it's a bit of a safe haven for some people. So I spend a lot of time to make sure that they're in an environment where they feel loved and there's real genuine belief and trust within that environment, and they know that any given hour of the day, if they need me, they can lift the phone and I'll be there for them. So and listen, we've got other players within the club who have struggled with other managers, and listen, I'm not saying what I do is the right way to do it, to be fair. It only works if players give you the right level of respect and understand at times when you're the manager and you need to be firm and hard, and the times come as well. I'm not I'm sure anybody who's working with me will tell you that, but I think I give players a significant level of respect and trust, and but as I say, I look at them fundamentally as people before I look at football players, and if you get that element right, then, and I think that's why we're so fortunate we've got such a good changing room where the boys do the things that we discussed early on in terms of supporting the NHS and stuff like that. That's because we're recruiting players that we spend a lot of time to make sure we're recruiting the right sort of characters, and the players get a lot of criticism at Darvel. They've had a lot of criticism for being mercenaries and no living in Darvel and travelling to the west of Scotland to play there, and it's all for money and stuff like that. But I think anybody who knows them as a group and knows what they're like within the club when they're there, I don't think you could probably meet a more appreciative bunch of individuals and good guys who spend a lot of time at the club, spend a lot of time speaking to fans and really bought into what we're trying to do. And that's how when they get criticised, then I go and defend them because I know the type of characters we've got in that changing room. I know what sort of people, I know what sort of families they come from, and put their football abilities to one side, which are significantly obviously important. They're all good people with good hearts.
Aye, good mate. I don't think they could deny that. Certainly for what you've seen this season, there is that genuine bond there, and it's great to see there. So that kind of concludes the first episode of Ask the Gaffer series. What we're intending to do for the fans is once we get the season back up and running, we're planning to run this kind of monthly, and we'll kind of make it more along the lines of any fans' questions as we go through the season and anything that we might have missed. So for me, on behalf of Jim and John, we'd just like to thank you. You've been a top guest, and we can't wait to obviously get the season underway and when obviously lockdown passes and get on with things, mate. So thanks for me. Anything else for you guys?
Thanks a lot, Paul.
No. I think it was just a shame, Mick, that that the league never get finished this year. We all wanted to do finish. To be said at the end of the season we have shared the title with Blantyre, it doesn't mean anything to any of us at the club. Yes, the players done well and things like that, but the season never get finished. One of my highlights when I've been at Darvel is when we won the league about 3 years ago, and the buzz it put around about the town. It was a wee Paddy and Alex team and things like that, and then the characters we had about the thing. It was the start of the revival of Darvel, that 3 years ago, and I was really looking forward to the next stage this season. And this virus just kind of stopped us in our tracks a wee bit, But there's nothing we can do about it. We've just got to look forward to next season. Recruited a few new players, and we'll just see what happens from there, and hopefully that we can go from strength to strength with it now, Mick.
I think you probably highlighted quite an important thing here, John. Obviously the success the club had 3 years ago, and the success Paddy has and his management team and that group of players, I think it's dead easy to forget now that because the club's got a lot of traction behind it, a lot of publicity, that it's dead easy to forget that sort of success the guys had, because fundamentally that's a significant milestone in the club's recent history to win that first, get the club out of the Championship. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget that what the guys achieved, because now maybe we're attracting a different calibre of player, there's people coming in for different levels and that, there's a different sort of eyes on the club. But I think it's important that people don't forget that what the guys done to get the club into the Championship in the first place.
That's right.
And you're right, I think it would have been great to finish the season, because I generally felt we would have won the league, and I think it would have been a great way to end it. But unfortunately it was taken away from us, and we agreed our main aim was to get us into the elite, into the Premier Division, and
we've done it.
And we've done that, mate. So that's a great milestone for the club as well. And I think because of the work that's been done with the committee and yourself and the fans, I think we've got that league being a real asset in many levels.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Right,
Thank you, mate.
Thanks. Cheers for that, mate.